The 4-year production cycle of an animated feature is a complex affair, noticeably different from the making of a live-action movie.
We actually start by editing the picture. Normally in live action you have a script, you go out and shoot masses of footage, and then you go into an editing room and cut it down and try and make a reasonably small movie out of it. In animation, because as it were the raw footage is so hideously expensive, you don't finish any footage until you know exactly how much you're going to need, down to the last frame. We build what we call a Leica reel, or an animatic reel, that is real quick rough sketches that we shoot and put up on film. So we get an idea of the whole picture and what we're going to have before we start doing any of the sort of real production process.
The story of Moses is such an archetypal story itself. You can look at the story of Luke Skywalker, you can look at the story of Simba from Lion King, you can look at Lawrence of Arabia, and all of them are somewhat of a Moses figure.
Let go of your contempt for life before it destroys everything you hold dear. Think of your son.
I would say the biggest thing, to me, how this steps out from the typical movie, is that we didn't do the Hebrews as good guys and the Egyptians as bad guys. Ramesses is not black and white. He's trapped in these traditions.
When I pass into the next world, then you will be the morning and evening star.
One damaged temple does not destroy centuries of tradition.
But one weak link can break the chain of a mighty dynasty.
This isn't a Disney fairy tale. It's not the kind of thing that I think Disney would necessarily tackle. And the subject matter, the dramatic, emotional, human subject matter in this film is not something that really has ever been explored in the way I think that DreamWorks is doing it.
So you think you have friends in high places with the power to put us on the run? Well, forgive us these smiles on our faces. You'll know what power is when we are done, son.
We're playing with the big boys now.
Playing with the big boys now. By the might of Horus, you will kneel before us, kneel to our splendorous power. Pick up your silly twig, boy.
You're playing with the big boys now.
That's me, right?
I just got a call from Mr. Spielberg himself, who said, Sandy, this is Stevie. We want you to do a voice. I said, okay.
5, take 1.
I will not be dictated to. I will not be threatened. I am the morning and the evening star. I am Pharaoh. I will not be dictated to. I will not be threatened. I am the morning and the evening star. I am Pharaoh. I will not be dictated to. I will not be threatened. I am the morning and the evening star. I am Pharaoh.
The great thing about animation is that you can do literally dozens and dozens of takes. I think on one occasion Jeff Goldblum did 250 takes of one line because he was having fun with it. And so you can get, the thing that you know you need, and then you can try a lot of other ideas and see how they fit together later.
Katzenberg wanted authenticity, so he took his team on a research trip to the roots of the story, Egypt.
Kind of color, not dark. But before we go there...
As a worldly ruler.
We've now been working on The Prince of Egypt for a year, and in that year's period of time, our artists have really created in their imagination this world inside their minds, the way they want it to be, the way they imagined in all its glory it was.
When I started drawing the Egyptian stuff here for the studio, everybody was saying that this is too big, the scales go completely, I am exaggerating, it's unreal. And that, the trip helped enormously. Because first time when we stand up in front of these temples, even Jeffrey himself said, yeah, this is it, this is like direct draws. And that for me was like a huge weight was taken out of my chest.
Meanwhile, the background supervisors were sent to Death Valley, California.
Oh, it's spectacular. It's beautiful, it's spooky. It's kind of eternal, you know, quiet and huge spaces and big sky.
It's like life itself. You got to live it. You can't just kind of see it from the outside. If you're going to paint a scene, and it's got to feel hot on screen, and you want your character to really feel like there's a scene when Moses is walking through the desert and he's going to die. Well, you can't know what that's like unless you've tried it. There's no way. So to get that kind of emotion to translate on a screen, you have to be there. So you feel the glare hitting you in the face, you feel the sweat, I mean, whatever. It's an emotional thing, and film has to be an emotional thing.
You know, you just can't make that kind of stuff up. You know, there's certain kind of light, and certain kind of atmosphere, and the textures and everything. You can't make that stuff up.
The core team maintained the look and mood on every piece of artwork, offering their artists advice and direction.
Yeah, I'm doing some one of the median sequences. Just trying to work out the shadows on this side, wondering whether or not the shadows...
Yeah, it looks good. You might want to watch how much light you let it spill off over here.
The level of detail on the Prince of Egypt sets a benchmark. Before any image went to animation, it was checked and double-checked for accuracy.
Join the dance. You must learn to join the dance.
Every department refined their input, perfecting each element that would find its way into the film.
And then kind of to an orange over here, pull them all together a little bit more.
Look at your life through
At Disney, Katzenberg had learned the importance of music to the success of an animated feature. Among his coups at the new studio was to secure Hans Zimmer, Academy Award-winning composer of The Lion King, to be head of music. Zimmer has composed and arranged the score for The Prince of Egypt.
I mean, I remember Jeffrey coming to me and saying, "We're going to make the story of Moses," and me going, "Oh my God, what are we going to do? How are we going to solve this little puzzle?" And me saying to him, "Well, I've never read the Bible and I didn't see the Ten Commandments either." And then thinking, hang on, that's actually a good thing. Because I can be the guy amongst the team who can go, why can't we have Moses do this and this and this, because it'll propel the story forward, and then have people shoot me down and say, it's not in the Bible.
Hush now, my baby, be still.
Alongside Hans Zimmer, Katzenberg chose Stephen Schwartz, Academy Award winner for Pocahontas, to write the songs.
Deliver Us was the very first thing that I wrote for the film. I spent a lot of time writing essentially a lullaby for Moses' mother, whom we never see again in the film, but I really wanted you to feel the pain this woman went through in having to surrender her son to the river as the only possible way to protect him, and for all she knows, he's going to not be protected anyway. He's going to drown 2 seconds after she sets him into the basket and sends him off.
The river, oh river, flow gently for me. Such precious cargo you bear. Do
a normal movie, somebody's out there shooting frames fast, you know. In animation, you know, everybody sat there for hours drawing, you know, for days drawing each one of these frames. So you suddenly have this sort of slight reverence towards it all, and you do feel responsibility of not letting other people's work down through your own work.
The work and effort involved in creating an animated feature is daunting. With over 40,000 illustrations needed just for the movie's opening 7 minutes, artists and animators faced a monumental task to complete their work in time. From the outset, Katzenberg knew DreamWorks' first classically animated film had to be special. By tackling an epic which features the plagues of Egypt and the parting of the Red Sea, he was announcing that the technical possibilities of animation would be stretched to the limits.
Visual effects in feature animated films are just as valid as they are in live action films, and just as computer intensive, creatively intensive. The Red Sea as a sequence is using something upwards of over 300,000 hours of rendering time, which is, I don't know, like over 32 years of technical rendering time, which is almost double the total rendering time on Titanic.
The parting of the Red Sea is the dramatic conclusion of the film. And it had to be huge. It had to have an incredible scale. It had to be scary. It had to be magical. It had to be awe-inspiring. You know, this is an act of God. This is no small thing. So we had a team of 12 animators, some of the best people in the industry, working on this for quite a while. Creating crashing waves and huge volumes of water hasn't been done in computer graphics before, and the techniques just weren't there.
We literally had to build tools from scratch, tools that didn't exist as recently as 1.5 years, 2 years ago.
So by now you've actually got those ripples of the thing which is remarkable about the stuff that's been done in this picture is that normally computer graphic stuff is designed to look as real as it possibly can. The challenge on this picture is that there is a stylization, and everything is painted, everything is deliberately made to look as if it's a painting. And so the computer graphics that are in the picture have to fit into that world as well.
There are more special effects in this film, digital effects, than any movie ever made. The result of which is a film that is simply unlike anything anybody's ever seen before. Hopefully they'll like it.
Erosion on Moses, rim lights on...
Everyone sought absolute excellence for each frame of the 90-minute film. 1 million minute details had to be perfect, even if it meant costly animation had to be scrapped and done again.
If we actually separated them on separate levels, we could get that right-hand one to become bigger.
Yes, that would be good.
Character cleanup to do each sandal separately.
Spring 1998, Hans Zimmer, Stephen Schwartz, and the core team traveled to London to record the music.
You know, anybody actually saying you have to write music that reflects Egypt from centuries ago, that's a sort of a vacuous statement to make, because they didn't record anything, so who would know? You know, and at the same time, I mean, for me it was important to not make this a true Bible picture about Moses and all that stuff, but make it relevant to today. And the only way I could do that was by writing music that would sound good to us today.
Here we go.
But what I gotten very good at is pretending that I had far more room than possible. I mean, basically sort of manipulating time so it feels like these scenes are just a little bit longer. I mean, David, you know, you look at Lawrence of Arabia, David Lean movie, I mean, he sits on that camera forever with Omar Sharif coming towards you on the camel. We can't do that. You know, we have so much story to tell.
Back in Los Angeles, animation on Prince of Egypt was done. Though much post-production work still lay ahead, this was a major landmark in the film's long road to completion.
There are levels of character animation that's been done on this picture that I simply haven't seen in an animated picture before. And part of this is because of the material, the things that the actors, the animators, as actors, are being asked to perform. The emotions that Moses goes through, for instance, are very complex and conflicted and sophisticated. And this is at a level of performance which simply hasn't been asked for in an animated picture before. The top level of animation, if you like, is when you can really make people believe that that drawing is thinking. Not that just that the drawing is speaking and creating these words, but actually thinking.
Only time will tell whether The Prince of Egypt is a commercial success. But right now, its creators have no regrets.
Whether it's successful financially or not, I'm really proud of the film, and I'm really proud of the work that the artists have done, and I know that they're proud of it, and that there's a really a good sense of we've done something that we all love.
It really has been once-in-a-lifetime kind of experiences, both in terms of just how the film worked out, but in terms of the people that you work with. I sound like a poster child, but I know I was lucky enough to be on it from the ground floor.
I think Prince of Egypt will kind of explode open doors in a new direction for animation, where it's not thought of as a cartoon, it's thought of as a film, where it's not thought of as a comic, but as fine art.
It has been, you know, an incredible journey, to say the least. It's something that, you know, I think we will be proud of for many, many, many years to come. Whatever happens for the movie, and you just, you know, we'll be in the hands of the movie gods in terms of that. But we've done our best work. And how could you ask for more than that?